what can milk teach us about alcohol? Okay, so you know how I'm always talking about programming, brainwashing, and how advertising pushes products, what we think is normal, how that is crafted in our minds. Well, milk is a perfect example of this. We now have data on what is actually going on in our bodies, despite what we all still to this day believe the benefits of milk are doing for us. I know that you guys have to remember the Got Milk advertisements. Remember with all of the celebrities, like I swear every single celebrity talking about the health benefits of milk. It was like freaking everywhere. Milk was going to increase our bone health, going to give us stronger bones so that we didn't have fractures or we wouldn't get osteoporosis. It was going to give us all the vitamins. It was great for moms to give to babies instead of breastfeeding, and wonderful alternative for calcium. And it was even so popular that the USDA made the My Plate, which is actually still on their website today, showing the essentials for a day-to-day diet for an American, and milk is on there as the dairy solution for all of us to live the happiest, healthiest, best lives. So with all that said, how is it possible that milk might actually be causing us to have weaker bones? How is it possible that milk is actually depleting our bones of calcium? How does that make sense? And wait. How is it possible that drinking milk is actually increasing our numbers of hip and bone fractures and osteoporosis? Before World War II, milk actually wasn't a thing. At the time, milk wasn't popular. But during World War II, you guys, the country basically needed to boost milk production to be able to send dairy products overseas to soldiers to give them food. The government decided to literally create the demand for milk by giving milk to our kids in schools to increase the demand overall. The increase in the demand basically allowed the US to produce the other dairy products that they needed for soldiers overseas. Keep in mind, this has literally nothing to do with the health benefits of milk. This was just to drive the demand for a fueled economy and to win a war. We had a massive surplus of milk in the market because we didn't have soldiers to give it to anymore, and normal people in the States at that time weren't drinking milk. So the government created federal programs to once again artificially drive the demand for milk up post-war. The National School Lunch Act, which literally mandated that each lunch with the schools had at least 1 or 2 whole pints of milk with it so that every kid could consume 1 to 2 whole pints of milk. Post-war, milk was basically advertised as the healthy solutions for mom to give to their babies. Moms were working more. So this is where all of the Got Milk campaigns started coming out, with every single celebrity out there basically talking about all the positives of milk. This was advertised to moms as a great solution to give to their kids for stronger bones, to get more vitamins, so that moms could be on the go and they didn't have to breastfeed. Instead, they could just give them cow's milk. If you are trying to sell milk, not only do you have the moms bought into this, but then you give milk to babies. That means you get a lifetime consumer of milk. So that's why people like all of us are actually consuming milk, because our parents gave it to us, which means we continue to consume it forever, or at least give it to our kids because we think it's the right thing to do, because that's what was advertised to our parents. So now that we're about 80 years separated from that time, we now have data on all of this information and what is actually going on in our bodies, despite what we all still to this day believe the benefits of milk are doing for us. Milk consumption has actually been connected to an increased risk of diabetes and many other cancers, up to literally 80%. 80%. And here's the real kicker. They have found that it is highly connected to massive bone loss, which, again, isn't that the entire benefit of drinking milk? What? There was a study done by Kendra Sonville from Harvard University. The results of this showed that active children who consumed the largest quantities of milk actually had more bone fractures than those who consumed less. Basically, milk didn't actually build strong bones at all, and it can potentially actually weaken them, which that's literally the entire campaign for milk. Another study done by the Harvard Nurses Health Study followed more than 72,000 women for over 18 years. The women who actually consumed the most milk were as likely, if not more likely, to suffer hip fractures than those who actually avoided milk. So people who didn't drink milk had stronger bones, didn't suffer fractures, and were much healthier. What? Another Harvard study revealed that men who had 2 or more servings of milk a day had a 60% increase risk of prostate cancer. Countries that don't drink milk have hardly any of these problems. Whereas countries that tend to consume the highest amounts of milk and calcium also have the highest rates of hip and bone fractures. And in fact, humans aren't actually supposed to drink milk. This is kind of gnarly, but it is what it is. Humans are literally the only living mammal that consumes the liquid of another mammal past the age of infancy. I know that's gnarly, but we're not actually supposed to drink cow's milk. It actually depletes our bones of calcium. The key thing to remember about this, though, is that milk production wasn't increased because it was healthier for people. Milk production was increased so that we would purchase product, so the demand of the product would go up, so that we could get product overseas to our soldiers so that we could win a war. And then following that, just to drive the demand in the States because we had a surplus of milk and we needed to get rid of it. All of that was artificially designed. Whether we consciously remember that or not, I know all of us sit at home and we believe that milk is actually a good thing for us because that's what we've been conditioned to believe. That's what we've been told. That's what we've been taught. It's a normal thing to drink milk since World War II, obviously. That's how subconscious that advertising and that programming was. This has nothing to do with the actual perceived health benefits, even though that's what was advertised. How does this relate to alcohol? Well, I always am talking about how we are living in a program, how society is constantly having alcohol present. We have all these advertisements for alcohol. Alcohol is a huge revenue producer, and it's something that we've always done, and that's what our parents gave us, and that's, you know, what they drink, and that's what our friends do, and it's at holiday events and work events and everything basically that we're involved with. The reality is that there is a difference in the reality versus what our perception is and what we decide to be normal. The US Department of Justice found that up to at least 40% of violent crimes in the United States occur under the influence of alcohol. 40%. Up to 30% of deaths by driving are caused by drunk driving, with some states like Texas up to 50%. That means car crashes, up to half of them are caused by drunk driving. Up to 40% of all convicted murderers in the US were under the influence of alcohol as well. Up to 40%, that's almost half. That is like wild. Alcohol causes anxiety, it creates depression, it's constant inflammation in our bodies, meaning that we hold on to weight, higher cholesterol, all these myriad of just health issues. I didn't actually see alcohol as something that was such a normal construct in our society until I decided to stop drinking. And then I realized, oh my God, like I can do everything I was doing, but I don't need alcohol. To give up alcohol meant that I was potentially giving up fun. I was gonna lose out on friends. I wasn't gonna have bonding experiences. I was gonna miss out. I was gonna basically be like giving something up in my life, because that's how normal alcohol seems. Or if you don't drink, it's like a very rare thing to see in a lot of places. Our society is stuck in this program, and until we, start to actually sort of compare this to other realities like milk and even fast food, how we just always ate fast food until we had documentaries coming out showing us the negatives of fast food. We didn't even realize. No, I don't believe that everybody should decide to stop drinking. If people have a happy, healthy lifestyle with alcohol, more power to them. But if you are considering a lifestyle without drinking and you are thinking about this for yourself, go ahead and subscribe below. If you guys like this video, please like it. If you have any comments or any questions, go ahead and drop them down below. I would love to see them, and I super appreciate you guys watching.